conventional pharmaceuticals. Very true, Graham agreed, this time tapping her cane against the leg of her chair in agreement. Her left hip had been giving her trouble for the past several years, and she always had the cane with her, but she tended to use it more as a stage prop than for actual support. Amelia Palmer was talking about that just last night. Too much of some medications can make them less effective. She's been having the most awful headaches, and the more painkillers she takes, the more she seems to need. She thinks it's from all the stress surrounding the sale. You know that she and Stanley have been trying to sell their house, and they've had considerable problems with— Hope saw her sister stiffen. Summer's shoulders tensed, and she gripped the edge of the table with white knuckles. The sale of a house, or more accurately, the attempted sale of a house, was an infuriating subject for her. After catching her husband, a.k.a. Shifty Gary, having an affair earlier that year, Summer had promptly filed for a divorce. Sinking to even lower depths, Shifty Gary had responded by both fighting the separation and making the ensuing division of assets as difficult as possible. After countless arguments and increasing legal threats, he had finally agreed, on the condition that he have the exclusive right to choose the real estate agent for the listing, to put their house in the Asheville suburbs on the market. Except then he did everything in his power to keep the house from actually selling. While Summer moved back downtown to the old 3-story brownstone in which she and Hope had been raised and in which the boutique was located on the ground floor, Shifty Gary remained in the marital abode, turning it into a party palace filled with the proverbial wine, women, and song. The resultant chaos and heaps of trash made it impossible to show the property to any reasonable prospective purchasers. In the beginning, Summer had done her best to be patient, figuring that her soon-to-be ex's behavior was the equivalent of screaming for attention and throwing a temper tantrum like a petulant toddler. She tried sweetness and gentle cajolery, which Shifty Gary only interpreted as an attempt at reconciliation. Firmly rebuffing that possibility, Summer turned to a more practical argument: money. Wine, women, and song might be fun for a while, but at the same time, the outstanding mortgage and property taxes weren't being paid. Shifty Gary's reply was that he didn't care. He had no intention of shelling out an unnecessary dime, and he was going to stay in the house until somebody with the requisite authority threw him out. So Summer was forced to proceed with even more legal threats and a painful, protracted court battle, which promised relief in the long term but helped her not one whit in the interim. Without the sale of the house, the divorce couldn't be finalized, leaving her miserably married with ever-increasing attorney's bills and a multiplying mountain of debt. "The Palmers have a terrible real estate agent," Graham informed them. "Of dubious ethics, apparently. Stanley thinks the man is deliberately holding back legitimate offers, hoping to weary them into eventually accepting some lowball proposal from one of his friends or associates. Amelia calls him a slippery fish." At the reference to slippery fish real estate agents, Summer's grip on the table tightened further, the skin stretching so tautly across her knuckles that it looked ready to split. Hope knew that Shifty Gary's agent of choice was also of questionable repute, and she was about to interrupt Graham to change the topic before Summer damaged either a hand or the table, but Graham ended up deftly switching subjects herself. "With her horrible headaches and all the trouble with the sale of their house, poor Amelia could really use some good news right now," Graham said. "So when she told me what she and the other festival organizers had discussed regarding your booth at the event this year, I simply didn't have the heart to decline. Amelia thinks that it's a wonderful idea. The whole festival committee thinks that it's a wonderful idea." This time, Hope didn't hesitate to interrupt. "And the answer is the same as it was a few minutes ago. No, absolutely not. Not the slightest chance," Summer echoed, releasing her grip on the table to fold her arms across her chest. Undeterred, Graham continued. "The booth would raise a good deal of